Those who live around the Chesapeake Bay are familiar with blue crabs and oysters, jellyfish and striped bass. But in the upper reaches of the fresh water, we have a community that a lot of people are not very familiar with, and these are the turtles. So here in the Jug Bay area on the Patuxent Estuary, we have 8 different types of turtles that depend on this habitat. For the last couple of years, we've been focusing on one particular turtle, and this is the box turtle. It's a turtle that formerly was considered to be strictly terrestrial. We found that they spend a lot of time in the tidal wetlands along the edge of the estuary. So let's...
All right.
Morgan,
Well, looks like we've got a pretty cool critter down here in the box, and we'll have Morgan talk a little bit about it.
This is a male turtle. You can tell by the indent here and the big thick claws here. You see right there. And then he has a big tail. Here's the big tail, and then the vent is far out on the tail. And this guy was just a pretty good example of a male turtle.
Well, turtles have been around for about 200 million years, so they've got a life plan that works. They're survivors. They're the only vertebrate that has a shell, and the top of the shell is called the carapace, and the lower shell is called the plastron, and the turtle lives in between. Now, the turtle is attached to its shell. And hey, Tara, could you hand us one of those shells there? We find the shells of old turtles that have died, and if you take a look here, you can see how the shell is actually an outgrowth of the vertebral column. It's bone, and the turtle is attached to its shell by muscles. This is a young eastern box turtle, and one of the nifty things about these animals is it's possible to get an estimate of age by counting the rings, the growth rings on the scutes. This turtle is about a third full-sized, and we can tell that it's about 7 or 8 years old. These turtles are extremely long-lived, and if things go well for this particular guy, he could live to 40 or 50 years, maybe even 80. Now, one of the things we do with turtles is we study their movements, their survivorship, habitat use, and we make a little mark on the edge of the shell so we can keep track of individual turtles. And we now have over 400 marked turtles in the sanctuary alone. Well, turtles are very convenient to mark as individuals. They have a set number of scutes around the edge of the shell. And we take advantage of that by using a file to put a permanent notch in the edge of the shell. So by taking the file and putting a mark there, it doesn't hurt the turtle, it's permanent, it lets us know that this is turtle number 313, and we can follow it year after year as it moves around the sanctuary. Now, one other thing we do with the turtles, do you two want to take the turtle and show how we might measure the length of the turtle?
Well, this is a caliper, and it's in centimeters, so we want it in millimeters, so multiply it by 100. And for each recapture and new ones, we measure the carapace length. This one seems to be 133.
So that's 133 millimeters?
Yep. It is indeed. Then we do the width, which we do lengthwise, so that if we do it this way, we don't know we're getting the widest span. Here. Morgan, can you read that?
That's about 11.1, 110.1.
We weigh them.
21 grams.
How much did that weigh?
441 grams.
Okay. So by measuring with the caliper, where you get the length and the width and you get weight, what kind of information does that give a scientist? I mean, what can you determine from all of that stuff?
Well, for the females, when we weigh them, sometimes we can tell whether or not they're pregnant. And for the males, really, it just tells the health. And it'll tell how big they are, of course. So.
Well, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, boy, you can actually tell if they're going to have babies or something.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of babies, we have a couple.
Now, what kind of babies are those?
Same type of turtle. Now look, this one could be a male or female. We can't tell this young. But same type. Look at the size difference.
Wow. Now is that a healthy little baby there, Morgan?
I'd say so, but I'm not really the expert on babies.
All right, all right. Well, sure, he's a little cute guy there. Boy, and he wants to get away, doesn't he?
They lay their eggs, and usually a little burrow. And around spring or fall, the eggs will hatch, and of course we'll have the kids.
All right, all right. Well, I tell you what, we're going to go back around, and I'm going to talk to Chris Swarth again, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about some of the other work that he does, and maybe some of the other neat turtles that he has, and tell us a little bit more about those painted turtles, because obviously there's a difference between land turtles and water turtles, right?
Well, there are, yeah. Aquatic turtles have webbed toes, and they're built for living a life pretty much in water their entire life. But this turtle over here, if we could move to the little guy who's in the tank here, this is one of the aquatic turtles that we have living at Jug Bay. This is the red-bellied. Not as common as the eastern painted, but they get quite large, and they're really gorgeous animals. Now, this little turtle just hatched out of the ground about 3 weeks ago.
Wow. And I mean, they're that bright colored already?
They are, and you see why they have their name? The plastron has that beautiful red pattern. And if this fellow lives and survives, he will grow eventually into a beast that's this big. These are huge, one of the biggest turtles in the entire state of Maryland, the beautiful red-bellied turtle.
Now, wait a minute. You're telling me that that little guy, if he lives long enough, he's going to grow into that big one there. How old would that big one be, approximately?
15 years plus. And these turtles could live to 30 or 40. Not as long-lived as the box turtle, probably.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we've got another question in, and this one is from Murch Elementary in Washington, D.C. How many different kinds of turtles are in Jug Bay?
Oh, that's a great question. We have 8 different types.
8 different types.
Diamondback terrapins, musk turtles, mud turtles, and of course the well-known snapping turtle is here too.
Now, wait a minute. We got to get this plug in here. Diamondback terrapin. That's a state turtle, isn't it?
Yeah, that's our state mascot. We
Go.
love the terrapins.
Go Terps. Go
Yeah.
Terps. All right.